Here's why you don't need a Nintendo Switch 2. The Nintendo Switch 2 released on June 5th, 2025, over 8 years since the release of its predecessor, the original Nintendo Switch. And as is always the way when a new console releases, stock is sparse. People are literally, digitally, wrestling to get their hands on these things. And the main question I have to ask is why? If you're yet to get your hands on one, or you're just not sure about whether or not it's worth picking up the Nintendo Switch 2, I'm here to de-influence you. At the moment, all the Nintendo Switch 2 is a console that costs a lot of money for marginal performance improvements over the original Nintendo Switch. You get better performance from a Steam Deck, which costs less money and has a much bigger and cheaper library of games to choose from. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Jasmine, what about exclusives? I will admit, Nintendo has released some of the best exclusives ever. Historically, it's what sold their consoles. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch was great, but it wasn't the hardware that was selling the device, was it? Nintendo has always had the mantra that games sell consoles, something that I wholeheartedly agree with. But with the Nintendo Switch 2, unfortunately, they have just fallen flat. The main release title, Mario Kart World, sucks ass. It's by no means a terrible game, but it just isn't up there with some of the other Mario Kart titles that have been released. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the original Nintendo Switch is actually so much better. But that's fine, that's just one of the release titles. Let's talk about the other one, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Or maybe we don't talk about it. So all in all, the release titles on the Nintendo Switch 2 weren't great. And for a device where games are the main selling factor, this isn't great. So let's look at some of the other first-party releases we can expect that already have dates confirmed. Donkey Kong Bonanza is due to release on July 17th, and I will admit, and hold my hands up, this is a banger. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. The next is Super Mario Party Jamboree. This is due to come out on July 24th, and you might be thinking, hey Jasmine, I've already played that. Yes, you have. The Switch 2 edition of the game implements a new feature called Jamboree TV. So essentially this is like having an additional DLC on the game rather than a whole new game in itself. Jamboree TV implements the new camera feature that is available on the Nintendo Switch 2. And although the camera feature is something different, it is a bit of a gimmick. So this isn't a whole new game for you to play on your Nintendo Switch 2. So technically, I don't know if I would even count this as an exclusive. Next is Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which is releasing on August 28th. Again, hey Jasmine, I think I've played that before. Yeah, you probably have. This is another existing game which is getting a DLC-esque upgrade in the form of Star-Crossed World, which is playable on the Nintendo Switch 2. But of course, again, I don't know if I'd count this as an exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2. There are some other games lined up to be releasing at some point this year, but we don't have confirmed release dates yet. So all in all, we've got a subpar release schedule confirmed so far. Nothing is really pulling me in and convincing me this console is worth purchasing. And on top of all of this, as if it wasn't already bad enough, the games are so expensive that they become inaccessible too. When did the world get to a stage where it was okay to charge £80 for a game? How is that okay? One of these games really speaks to you and makes you feel like it's worth spending over £400, which is the cost of the console, plus the cost of the game just to play it, then sure, go for it, buy a Nintendo Switch 2. I personally don't feel that way. Yes, I'm excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I wouldn't spend over £400 just to play it. Of course, sooner or later, the library of exclusive titles for the Nintendo Switch 2 will grow. More games will release over the years and it will make picking up the Nintendo Switch 2 worthwhile. But right now, this just isn't the case. So, just to clarify, I'm not telling you not to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 ever. I'm just telling you not to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 yet. Maybe wait until there's more to play on the thing. I know I've likely made myself a target of the Nintendo fan base by even saying some of the things I've said in this video, but that's my opinion on the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't think it's worth picking up just yet, but that doesn't mean it's not worth picking up ever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you guys have got a Nintendo Switch 2 and if you think it's worth picking up. This has been Jasmine and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!